In a drought, your soil has one job. It's to hold water without suffocating roots. Now, coconut coir can do both or quietly ruin your garden if you don't prepare it right. Let me show you how to build it correctly. Most people skip this prep, and that's exactly why their plants struggle. Most people buy a dry brick of coconut coir and think all it needs is water. That's not really how this works. Coir is basically a sponge. It's not finished soil, and it's definitely not a complete growing medium. If you plant straight into it, that coir can actually tie up nutrients your seedlings need, especially calcium and magnesium. So you're not just rehydrating a brick and calling it done, you're building a growing system from the ground up. There's a right way to do that, and it happens in 5 phases. The first phase is expansion. Put the dry coir brick in a tub and add warm water. As it sits, it'll slowly swell up and loosen. Once it's fully hydrated, you need to break it apart by hand until the texture is fluffy and even. At that point, it looks better, but don't get fooled. You've still just got wet, sterile fiber. Next comes buffering, and this is the step a lot of people skip. Raw coir can hold on to sodium and has this habit of grabbing calcium and magnesium before your plants can use them. That's a problem. So, before anything gets planted, the coir needs to soak in a CalMag solution long enough to satisfy that demand. If the bag says it's pre-buffered, great. If not, don't skip this step unless you want to create problems for yourself. Once that's done, now you can build the actual soil structure. Buffered coir still doesn't have life in it, so it needs to be blended with living material. A solid base mix is about half buffered coir and half quality compost. If you're gardening in a wetter climate, open it up more. Equal parts coir, compost, and something for aeration like perlite or vermiculite. That gives you airflow and keeps the mix from turning into a soggy mess after heavy watering or rain. If this is already saving you from screwing up your soil, hit subscribe. That's exactly the kind of mistake I help you avoid on this channel. After that, you stock the pantry. Coir doesn't bring much nutrition to the table on its own, so you have to add it. In other words, coir doesn't feed your plants, you do. Worm castings supply nutrients and bring in microbial life. Rock dust like azomite restores trace minerals, and mycorrhizal fungi help expand the plant's root reach so it can pull in more water and nutrients. Once all that goes in, mix everything thoroughly until it looks consistent all the way through. If it's not consistent, you're not done. Keep mixing. Then comes the final activation step. Once the bed is built, soak it with a diluted fish emulsion. That helps wake up the microbes and gets the whole system moving. And that's the moment when this stops being a dead brick of fiber and starts acting like a living, growing medium. So at the end of this process, what you've really done is moved through 5 stages: expansion, buffering, structure, nutrition, and activation. And that matters because when you do this work up front, you eliminate most of the problems people run into later. Nutrient lockout, poor structure, weak early growth. All the stuff people blame on the plant, when the real issue was the foundation the whole time.